Do you ever feel like the more you track, the less clarity you actually have? Like you're logging everything in your head, on paper, or across 3 different apps, your food, your sleep, your cycle, supplements, symptoms. You're watching what you eat, you've added magnesium, you're noticing the bloating, the fatigue, and the moods. And you've probably got a sleep tracker, a stress monitor, a color-coded journal, and a habit app that keeps reminding you it's time for water. And somehow you just are not feeling 100%. You're more tired than you should be, hungrier than you expected to be, and you find yourself staring at the fridge like, do I need something or am I just stressed? Then there's always that little voice in our head that sneaks in and says, I'm doing everything right, so why don't I feel better than this? And that's what we're talking about today, because tracking isn't the enemy, but it's not the solution either. Welcome to the Decode Your Body podcast. I'm your host, Tasha Miller. For female entrepreneurs, time and attention matter. Managing symptoms that don't make sense costs both. You already know how to lead, and this is where that leadership extends to your health. You are the CEO of your body. So I get it. You're tracking everything. You probably have spreadsheets, charts, notes, and tracking makes you feel in control until it doesn't. Trust me, I know. I've been there. After a while, the numbers just start piling up, but you still don't feel any closer to answers. And you keep thinking a pattern will magically emerge from all of the data that you have collected, but no one's told you what pattern you're actually looking for. So when you're still bloated and you still can't sleep and you're still feeling like every noise is 1 decibel too loud, you don't question how you're looking at all that information. You start questioning yourself. Maybe I wasn't consistent enough. Maybe I should try a different magnesium. Maybe I need to track more, do more. It's just all about more, right? And now you're stuck in what I like to call tracking overload. Collecting everything, but nothing's making sense yet. And the problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. It's that you don't have the right lens. You're noticing symptoms, but no one's showing you what they mean, because information doesn't equal clarity, but interpretation of that information does. Now, your body sends feedback every single day, but not in perfect charts and graphs and not in app scores or habit tracker streaks. It shows up in signals, or what I like to call symptoms. Sometimes they can be really subtle, and other times they're, screaming at you and impossible to ignore. Maybe something like an acne outbreak, or how you feel 20 minutes after a meal when that mid-afternoon crash shows up, or when your brain just flips into, why am I even doing this at 4:37 p.m.? Tracking helps you to collect those dots, but interpretation is what connects them together. You're tracking what you ate, when you slept, which supplement you took, but your body doesn't run on check boxes. It's like a living, shifting, breathing system. And if no one ever taught you how to read what it's telling you, it's no wonder you feel like you're missing the mark every day. Think about lab testing. You can get the blood work done, ferritin, thyroid, B12 insulin, and sure, the numbers show up on a PDF, but unless you have someone trained to read that functionally, someone who can tell you what that means for your body, it's just more information that you toss into a folder somewhere and hope that you understand later. So it's the same thing here. You've got all this data, this wellness data, but no lens. And that's why the tracking isn't helping. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because no one's shown you how to actually use it. And that's where most plans or protocols, they fail. They give you macros to hit during the day, foods to eat for your IBS, supplements to try, and boxes to check, but no one teaches you how to read what your body is saying back to you. The way I approach this is simple. I don't start with food. I don't start with supplements. I start with 3 things: your body type, the pattern you're currently in, and the signals or symptoms your body is already giving you. Because without that, all that tracking is just uninterpreted information. And this is where it starts to feel defeating, because you've built systems in every other part of your life. Your project management system and calendar, they run your week. Maybe you're solopreneuring from home. Maybe you lead a team. Either way, you're getting things done. But your body, that's the one thing you live in all day long, 24 hours a day. And that's where you still get stuck collecting information you don't know what to do with. So instead of questioning the advice that you've been given or what Dr. Google has told you, you start questioning yourself. One of my clients was tracking everything. She had a color-coded spreadsheet for meals, Aura for sleep, a full supplement list, and she timed her workouts with her cycle. She was doing everything right. Your classic type A really, speaks to my heart. But she was still bloated by 6 p.m., still felt her energy and motivation just go down and tank around 2, and still felt stressed the second her schedule would shift around. So what did she do? Well, she went back into the spreadsheet, double-checked what she ate, rewatched some trainings from one of the protocols, and adjusted her plan again. But what she didn't see was that her body was doing the same thing it had always done. She just hadn't been taught how to interpret it. Her bloating? Well, it wasn't random. It was tied to how she was preparing her food, not just what she was eating. And her cravings? They showed up whenever she worked through lunch and skipped eating. Those energy lows always came up on about day 21 of her cycle. She just didn't know what that meant. So the signs were there, but she didn't know how to read them. So once we determined her body type and matched her symptoms to her current pattern of imbalance, it was like someone turned on the lights for her. She was as excited as I was when I first understood my body this way. Now she knows which foods actually work for her body type. She knows when she's starting to drift into a pattern of imbalance because the symptoms are predictable. She reduced her supplements. She simplified almost everything she was doing. And here's the part that I really love the most. She realized that some of the plans she'd been following were actually working against her. So she didn't burn everything down, like we didn't do that. She made a few intentional shifts so her body could work with her instead of fighting her. And these small changes reduced her decision fatigue, saved her money because she wasn't throwing her credit card at every new solution that she came upon. And it freed up so much of her time because she wasn't spending her nights Googling and researching symptoms anymore. And as a mompreneur running her own business, it gave her back mental capacity, which directly affected how efficient she was. As women, I think we all think that we need to try harder. But when you actually know what you're looking at, most of the time it gets easier and a lot more sustainable. And that's the part many women miss. Most women think clarity comes from being more consistent, from following the plan better, from adding another app or a meal log. But once you learn to interpret the signals, you stop reacting to your symptoms and you start responding to patterns. And you go from, why is this happening again, to, oh, okay, I know what this is. And that's the shift. You stop being a fixer and a tracker and you become the interpreter of your own body. You're not just following a plan. You're leading the strategy of your body. And that's what it means to lead your body. And honestly, I could just talk about body literacy all day long. I really love this stuff. So if you're tracking everything, but still not feeling better, you don't need more information or data. You need the right lens. Sure, we can have all that data, but when you can understand it, it's going to make more sense. So if you're ready to stop tracking and start interpreting, get on the Body CEO waitlist at tashamiller.co/waitlist. The link will be in the show notes. That's where I will be sharing the system behind this way of thinking. It's literally a way of living. And if you're on the waitlist, you will be the first to know what's coming next. I hope this episode blessed you, and I will see you back here next week. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, tap follow and leave a 5-star review down below. I read every single one and it helps more women find this podcast. If you want to keep the conversation going, head to tashamiller.co for resources, offers, and all the ways to connect with me.